So yesterday for my video for day 38 and counting down to Porto, I did a very short one. It was like 1 minute. I was experimenting a little bit, and I did it in Canva. I did a template. I took some photos that I found. I was looking at some trips, and so basically, I was focusing on things to do in Porto, things to think about to do. And just so happens, after I put out the video last night, I turned on the TV to watch The Amazing Race, which is one of my all time favorite shows. Every time they come up, it's like, do you want to be on The Amazing Race? It's like, yes, I do want to be on The Amazing Race. However, I, I just, as much as I want to do that, I just don't think it would really work out. And there are a couple of reasons for that. Number one is that I have so many food allergies, and and I just can't eat things. I mean, there's a lot of stuff I can't eat. And of course, during the race, if you've watched this, many times you're eating things that are kind of local cuisine or things like that. And I would probably have to pass on almost any of those. Same thing, like lots of times, they'll go and they'll taste a cocktail or do something like that, and I don't drink anymore, which I guess I could have a sip. I don't guess that would hurt. And But the other thing is that there's always every season that I can think of, there's always at least one thing where um, where you have to face your fear of heights. And I don't think I could do it. I mean, I get my fear of heights. I don't know how. When they're having you jump out of planes, or they're having you scale these buildings, or they're all these different things to test. It's always to do that. I don't know how I can do it. And so when I watch these guys, I'm always amazed at some of these guys who overcome those fears. And so I notice, like, there's some people, they also do a lot with water. Um and I noticed that for a lot of those people, that is a terrible, terrible fear for them. So there's part of me that's like, for water, it's like that doesn't even register as something scary to me. And so listening to those guys do that, it's like, okay, all right. So those guys actually, they have the same kind of fear of water that I have of heights. And I don't know. Anyway, I've gotten off topic. The thing that was really cool about this week's Amazing Race is that the destination was Porto, Portugal. They spent pretty much the entire episode in Porto, and so they showed some other things that were really kind of cool in terms of things to see. They went through the Douro Valley to some of there's like all these vineyards and wine. They make a lot of wine there. Port is comes from Porto, in that area, and so they had a number of different wines, and they did some stuff that I don't want to spoil the show, because I want to encourage you to watch the show if you're interested in what Porto is like. If you go to the Amazing Race, it's 2015. This is mid-May. I think today is May the 14th. And if you check into the episode for this week, they go to Porto. So you can see that. One of the other things, I heard them talk a lot about the tiles. They talked about the tiles in the Bento train station. And so they go to the Bento train station, but they go other things. One of the things I didn't realize is that those tiles, that the city is famous for those tiles, and they are apparently everywhere. So they did some stuff with that, and they walked over the bridge. I think it's called the Dom Luis Bridge, I think is what it's called. And I think it may have traffic too, but the part that they showed was just like the walking part. So I know that there's a walking bridge, and there may be traffic on it too, although that was not shown. And they walked across the Douro River for the final check-in for the episode. But if you're curious as to what Porto is like. If you've been following along on this and you want to get an idea, check out that episode of The Amazing Race. It was really fun. I think the fact that I'm going to be going there in a little while made it all the more fun. So anyway, I just thought I'd mention that. So we are at day 37, counting down 37 days until we go, or until the wedding. We go to Porto a little bit before that, but 37 days until the wedding. And I did not, oh my gosh, I didn't come prepared with the Portuguese phrase of the day. So what are we going? I think that's actually Spanish. I've been looking in the books, and there's a lot of stuff in terms of things to eat. And one thing that there are several different things is, and I don't know if I'll spell it right. The word in Spanish is bacalhau, and I think it's pronounced almost the same in Portuguese. I think it's bacalhau, maybe a little bit different on them. Bacalhau, bacalhau, something like that. And that means codfish. And apparently they do a lot with codfish. Apparently there's a lot of different kind of dishes that they make with that. I've seen 2 or 3 different dishes that are, they say, oh, you've got to try this when you go visit that. And they all seem to be made with this codfish. So that's one thing I guess we'll say for today is if I get it right, I may have to correct this tomorrow. Bacalhau, which I believe, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, is codfish. So that's it for today. 37 days. If you're enjoying this, maybe you can share it with a friend, someone who maybe wants to go to Porto or get some idea. Still working on the dancing a little bit. Working on yesterday, I think I mentioned that yesterday. I had another session with Adriano. Adriano is my Italki coach for Portuguese. He is based in Brazil. And so we're working on a few things, and but I thought that The Amazing Race was a fun one, so I thought that I would share that with you. Check out The Amazing Race, this week's episode. It's 2025 when I'm recording this in mid-May, and they go to Porto, and it's the next to the last episode for this season. The next episode is the finale. So if you're looking for it, trying to find it, that's where you need to go. All right, my friends, have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow when we count down to day 36. It'll be here before we know it. Take care, everybody. Bye.